If you think what the essence of the Cook Like a Bastard kitchen is, it's really trying to have fun, putting a lot of things together and really having a good time in the kitchen. And one thing we found is really fun is making cheese. Now today we're going to be making some mozzarella cheese. And you may think, oh my God, that must be complicated. It's like Italian or something like that. Well, it really isn't that tough. You're going to find it's only going to take 20 minutes and you don't even have to go outside to milk your buffalo. No, what we're using today, we're just starting with a gallon of whole milk. It's pretty simple. And I'm going to pour this into my stock pot right here. Now if you have buffalo outside, don't hesitate. I encourage you, milk these people. They like to be milked. At least most of the buffaloes I know do. So I poured my gallon of milk in here. And I'm also going to prepare the other elements that are required for it, is citric acid. Now, citric acid is really like a concentrated lime or lemon powder made for this. It's a little stronger than that. And I'm just going to mix that up. And I'm going to pour it into my gallon of whole milk. Simple as that, and I'm going to heat the milk up till about 90 degrees. So my burner's on, and we're letting the milk go up. And while you're doing that, it's time to prepare your rennet. Now, rennet is an enzyme. This is vegetable rennet, and vegetable rennet tends to come from thistles, which sounds a lot nicer than coming from the lining of some kind of mammal. So anyhow, this is what your little bottle of vegetable rennet looks like. And I'm going to into a quarter cup of water. That's where the quarter cup came in. And then when your milk gets up to 90 degrees, you turn off the heat and then add your rennet solution. Pretty simple. Now here comes the complicated task though. Put it in your spoon and stir it and count to 30. 1, 2, 3, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, now after you've done 30, what you're going to do here, you're going to cover this up for about 5 minutes. Don't touch it, let it settle. So we've let these sit for about 5 minutes, and this should thicken up and be a little bit, maybe like tofu a little bit, and we're going to cut this into a nice grid. Oh yes, it's working very well here. And then you're just going to cut this across. Make sure your knife goes, I'm just using a spatula, but goes all the way to the bottom of the pan here. And again, you're making a grid, a big tic-tac-toe board maybe. And again, this is probably the consistency of some soft tofu. And what we're going to be doing from here is that we're going to turn on the heat again to kind of a medium heat. If you're on a big burner, it might be a lower heat. And we're going to stir this for 5 minutes. So there you go. You can watch me stir, or you can think about when you're going to make some mozzarella. Didn't think you could do this, huh? It's already looking like cheese. Actually, right now you have curds and whey. Who knew? Who knew when you heard that nursery rhyme? Not me. So then you heat this up to about 105 degrees, and then you take it off the heat. So I'm turning that down, and now I'm going to stir it for 5 minutes. I'm setting my timer here, and another 5 minutes is going to go by. I'm going to be doing some stirring, and you're going to watch while you're stirring. It's going to get a little yellower while the curds and whey separate even more. So be gentle while you stir it, but keep it moving for the next 5 minutes or so. Okay, we got about 40 seconds left of stirring here, but let's review what we've done to get to this point. We have used a 1/4 teaspoon of vegetable rennet, a 1.5 teaspoons about citric acid, a gallon of whole milk, and we've poured this together. We've done a lot of stirring. More than anything, we've been stirring, but we're only about 11 minutes into this whole project. That's the amazing thing about the mozzarella stuff. I'm going to shut this off now so it doesn't chirp. And then you have this nice separation here. So what you're going to do, I want you to take a microwave safe bowl because we're going to actually put this in the microwave. You guys got a microwave? Thought you might. So we're going to take these cats out of here, let the whey drain, and put your curds in here. Look at that. Remarkable. If you think that's remarkable, you should go to cooklikeabastard.com sometime. You'll say that, holy cow, it is remarkable. And then you find more curds, grab them. Then you might want to take your final step, take a little more fine of a strainer to get more of the stuff in. When I say stuff, I mean curds. We're just going to put this in the microwave for a minute. Okay, so you've taken out of your microwave here. You notice you got a little more whey produced, so let's dump that back into the whey back machine, as this may be. And then, this is kind of hot right now, so because you're going to work this with your hands. And I'm just going to put it above here so you can see it a little better. But I am going to put on some rubber gloves here so I don't burn my hands, because this is hot. And I'm going to work it. I don't want to overwork it, but I'm going to fold it in a few times. And it should be soft, a little cottage cheesy, maybe a little more coarse than that. And then just get to play with it and mix it up. Oh, it's squeezy goodness. Okay, so I'm going to work this a few times just to start the stretching. Now, one thing you're going to find while you're working the cheese, if you overwork it, it's probably not going to melt as well. And so kind of judge that while you are going through your process here. So I'm squeezing here. I've made a little more whey. And what I'm going to do now is drain the whey one more time. And I'm going to go back in my microwave for 30 more seconds. And the idea is to heat this up to 135 degrees. So I've gotten this out of the microwave. I'm measuring it. It is about 138 degrees or so. So I don't need to put it in anymore. But if it was not 135 degrees, you would want to put it in a second time for about 30 seconds. Now drain off the whey again. And now we're going to work it and start to shape it the way we're going to want it. So I'm going to put this down and pour a little salt over it now. And yeah, it's a tablespoon of salt or so. I'm going to work this into here, and then you just start mixing it up and playing with it, remembering that you work it up too much, then you've overworked it, and then it's not going to melt. It's going to be a little chewier, a little under. It may not have the consistency you want. So this may be where it becomes more of a work of art. This is really the type of project that I love doing on this show, because it was one of those things you'd think, well, could I really make mozzarella cheese? It must be pretty complicated. And once you get by the fact that you don't need to be milking buffaloes, I think you're going to enjoy it. And we've made this with whole milk before, even like lactate-free milk, and it's worked. So, you know, make it something that you want. The more fat, probably the better it is. So I think I've probably worked this enough. So I'm going to kind of shape it into probably two balls here. So I want to make it a little longer and longer so I can cut off more slices to put on the pizza. And then once you get the shape you want, you lay that out, take the second one, work it some more. Oh, it's fun to work the cheese. And if you want to store it, now here's a real good trick for storing. Once you make it into your little ball that you want, I'm just taking just a little plastic container here and putting it in here. And I've let my whey cool a bit. And that is way cool, isn't it? And I'm going to take the whey in here and just cover this up to preserve it. And it will keep in your refrigerator for about a week like this. So, you know, you don't need to eat it right away. But I got to tell you, again, this is one of the things we like to do. We like to make something that isn't that usual, but it's easy, simple, and fun. We made mozzarella right here on Cook Like a Bastard.